This is a Headgum podcast.
So one of us will sit here and one of us will sit there.
No, I just saw another mic there, so I was like, I just was confused.
Yeah.
About what was taking place.
All right. You found a place with me?
Huh? Yeah.
You found. Oh.
I took a moment to try to convince Marlo to come here with me, just to on her way up to a doctor's appointment, and I thought it'd be funny if she came in for 2 seconds. But
Yeah,
She's
let's.
providing great content with the question.
she has, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's really good.
Yeah.
She's had some doozies.
Yeah. I say.
I've actually been kind of saving my powder in a sense because I've got some really kind of interesting esoteric ones that I've been saving because the interview so far, I don't want to call it an interview, the talk, whatever, has been, they've been really good, and it doesn't feel like they need that little thing, so I just grab a random question, but she's got some really great ones.
Yeah. Did you win that for this podcast
Yeah.
that hasn't come out yet?
Yep.
And you won an on-air mic award.
Oh, I thought that's what you were pointing to. What was the other thing you were pointing to?
The gold
Golden.
Donald Trump headphones.
No, I didn't win those. I stole those.
Got it.
It was like the last kind of caper that I pulled off.
Got
I
it.
did the Great Train Robbery,
Yeah.
a recreation of that.
Yeah.
But nobody gives a shit about mail anymore, so that was stupid. And then I got the Mikey, that's what that's called.
A Mikey.
Yeah.
What'd you win it for?
Best use of Mike, just knowing Mike skills.
Mm-hmm.
Just being in the general area of the mic.
Like not to be too far or
Not
too
to be too
close.
close.
Yeah. Not to talk too loud or
Right. And just it's also about respect, in an intrinsic way, who it's hard to quantify, but the top. Well, there's one guy I didn't really. I was surprised he was nominated, but it's about a showing respect in a way.
Can you say who it was?
I mean, can I? Is that cool with you guys?
You guys want to call legal?
Yeah.
No.
It was Gavin Newsom, and I just don't think he has a good understanding. I mean, I love some other aspects about him. This is not a reflection on him as a person or anything. I just don't think he has the podcast mic skills that so many other deserving people do.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I purposefully didn't wear my 2 necklaces. You gave me just one of them because they clang together.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to sound like that.
That will
Yeah.
get you nominated for a mic.
I'm kind of hoping.
It's that kind of
I'm kinda
behavior
hoping.
and that kind of professionalism
Thank you.
that will get you nominated
Thank you.
for a Mikey.
Oh, honey, thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
so much.
I'm not on the committee. I'm not.
Oh.
I'm just saying you should.
Okay, guys, I'm going to take off.
Well, I could be on the committee. I could be. I could be. I know people. I will know people on the committee.
Do I get paid for this, or is that it? Am I done?
What else? You want to talk about what you got coming up?
Let's see. Oh, I've got tonight. I've got a date night. Super hot.
Well, this probably won't go out for a little while. So
Yeah, but date nights every week, so
is it?
it better be.
Is it?
Date night has to be every week.
I think I told you a while ago. I was reading an article about this is years ago. But a family. They're both teachers, mom and dad, and 2 kids, and they were. I can't remember where they lived in the States somewhere, and they decided things were getting bad, so they decided to go to, it was either the Caribbean or Mexico. It was some kind of idyllic, beachside thing. And they were talking about their life and how it's better and it's worse in different ways. And one of the things was the part of their success to their marriage was that they have a date night once a month. And I remember reading that and going, once a month? God, that motherfucker is so lucky, and bringing that to your attention.
Honey, we can do we can do one night a week, and I'll do 3 nights with someone else.
You already go out all the time.
I'll do a date night with. I'll pick three different people if that makes you feel better. And then just one with you.
It's the
one with Timothy Chalamet.
Sure, yeah, get him. See if we can get him. Emma, Google Timothy Chalamet is the actor and his availabilities to go out on a date with my wife.
Yeah, date night.
I'll load his Google Cal right up.
Great.
Okay, thank you. It should be on his IMDb page which night he's available to go out on a date night with my wife. It should be listed somewhere.
Can I actually ask you both to just pull the mics in a bit closer?
Oh, we're never getting nominated.
No.
Thank you so much.
Better?
How's that?
That's great.
All right. No, once a week is good. It is good. Especially because there's traveling involved, so it's not really once a week.
Yeah, I mean, I think just even the effort that we make, to say like once a week, we have time together, we like get to go have a beer, have great food, like enjoy each other's company. And, since our lives and careers are so dependent on work and where that might take us or, changes from minute to minute.
And our psychological outlook is dependent on work. I know that's
absolutely
true for both of us.
I actually told a friend of mine, which we always have loved, like we often try to go get a beer or something at the end of the day as like,
right.
Not even a date, but just like I almost think of it as like a check-in, like a minute.
Don't undersell the importance of the beer part. That's important.
And a good beer.
And a good beer.
Good Guinness.
Yeah, we gotta.
But I don't think I think I had undervalued how kind of important that is, both for you and I as a couple, but just
to drink alcohol.
No, I said that to my friend Priya, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's amazing! That at the end of the day, you reserve the time you have left with childcare for 1 hour with your partner to just talk about the day, like to go have a beer, but to talk about." Or not to talk. When we sit there sometimes in silence. Sometimes we look at our phones. Sometimes we get so deep in conversation. I, beg Stacy to stay an extra half hour. Like, I just think that's it's a privilege, but it's also just like a good reason, I think, for why we have such a good relationship.
I think the alcohol has a lot to do with it too. I think I really want to go back to that part. Because we've been up because to get our kid off to school and everything, we get up at 7, which isn't crazy, but so by the end of the day, it's been what was that, 10 hours?
Yeah.
So literally by the end of the day, not the end of the night and all that. And it's nice to go out and just also check in with all the stuff we've got to, the responsibilities we have, things that we've done. I called the plumber, et cetera, and then hang out with her. I hang out with Marlo, and you go out and meet whichever friend it is for drinks.
There's so many.
There are.
God. But then there's my date nights with Timothy.
Yeah.
Got to factor those in.
How was your night last night with your editor?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really nice. I went and hung out with my friend, who's also my editor for the New York Times, has done a couple pieces there with me, and it was nice. We talked a little bit about the world, but not too much. We also mainly talked about she's working on a podcast that I love very much, called The Run Up, which will be out by the time still that this is happening. And I just was picking her brain all about it because I'm, as you know, fascinated by American politics, and I think Ested Hernan is a really brilliant political reporter, and so Rachel gets to help produce his podcast, and I think it's really awesome. So it was a nice dinner. It's good.
Good. Where'd you all eat?
I went to Kai.
That just reminded me of something. It was editing podcast. Your friend, Emma. Can you replay the last 15 minutes? All right, I'll think of it in a second. It was something to do. All right, forget it. Let's move on. Sorry, apologize.
Do you know what number guest I am? Like how many people you've had on? And I assume this won't be in order. It'll be.
No, it won't be in order. I think you're the
8th, I believe. Are we around there?
Yeah, about 8th. About 8?
Nice.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you're 8.
And there's no limit. Like you're just going to keep going until you feel like the season is done.
No, I'm legally obligated to do 520. I have 520 episodes
back to back.
Yeah, so that would be 512 left.
Yep.
Yeah. Which means I got to get 512 more questions from Marlo. Yeah, it's this has been good, and as I said, I think this is kind of up your alley. You would enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, that's some of what I do with my newsletter. Listening in
Plug
the dark.
That. Tell it.
Yeah.
Say it.
Listening in the dark. It's a newsletter that I started about a year ago. We're actually coming up on the 1-year anniversary. In the beginning of 2024.
Are you gonna have a party or celebrate it?
I don't think so. I'll probably write an essay for it, but I think
you don't want to rent like a rooftop at a hotel or something like in Soho?
I mean, with your credit card, sure.
No. No.
No, I don't want to do that. I think, you very smartly got off social media, which I think is, for the most part, I think you plug, obviously doing your tours and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I'm not on it. I never put anything on there. I don't go on there
and
anymore.
You used to be. I mean, we used to both sit on the couch and look at, Twitter, RIP. We used to be looking, I think, a lot more engaged, and it's just become, or maybe it's always just been a horribly volatile, numbing place.
It's terrible. And that's why I got off way before, any of the current awfulness. And I got when my phone busted for the last time for good, and I had to replace the phone. I got a new phone, and I had to transfer everything. I purposely didn't transfer that. So when did I mean, that's like a year ago.
Yeah. Well, I felt that, which is why I started a newsletter. It was just, first of all, I wanted my writing to not have so much pressure. I wanted to feel like I could just put out we just did a recent essay on the audacity of Dermot Mulrooney and his,
he changed his name.
He did?
Yeah, to Dermot McRooney.
Wait, how do you pronounce his last name?
It was Mulrooney. Dermot Mulrooney.
Thank you, my brain.
But he
also
changed.
Dylan McDermott.
But there's Dylan McDermott.
I would never. No. But just sort of talking about rom-coms, which I love.
Which one was the one in Independence Day? I always get those two mixed up. It's either
I don't know.
One was in Independence Day, and one was in
that I have no idea.
It was like the porn satire of Independence Day. It was like in this penis gay, I think it was called. They're not very clever names when they do the parodies, but
I'm not seeing either of them at Independence Day.
It's either Dermot Paxton or Dermot Pullman.
Oh wow, I see.
Bill Pullman?
Bill Pullman, that's it.
Why did we bring up Bill Pullman?
Because one of them is always mixed up for the other one.
Oh, I mean, that's impossible to me. That's so crazy. But I just think that, anyway, I only brought this up to talk about my love of rom-coms, which I love, and you do not, and that's fine. And
no, I like a good rom-com. I just don't like the cheap.
Name me a good rom-com that you love.
Silence of the Lambs.
Jesus.
That too.
The Story of Jesus.
Last Temptation of Christ. No, I mean, you know what I really enjoyed? I don't think it came out. I don't know if you can find it, but you saw this with me. I think they came together. David Wayne. I think Wayne and
which kind of mocked the format of a rom-com. Yeah, it was so great.
Really,
it was
really funny.
Amy Poehler and Paul Rudd. So good. So good. So underrated, that movie. I really liked it.
Well, I didn't really. I mean, it was here and gone in a second.
Yeah.
And I don't think it did much. But
that's from what I understood, because I remember we watched. We're like, this is great. How come nobody talked about it? And I think it's because people genuinely thought it was a real rom-com.
Well, David showed me a review. Where the guy
people misunderstood the whole point of it.
This is a guy who's done nothing but comedy movies.
Yeah.
And that type of comedy movie.
Yeah.
He already did, Wet Hot American Summer, and I think it was him and Ken Marino wrote it. And it's just kind of spot on, really funny, perfect thing, and all the dumb cliches. It's very Hallmark, one of those Hallmark things, which I think I told you this. It was part of the tour where I was out for a while because I was shooting Umbrella Academy in between the things. So I was out for when I structured this last tour, it was so that I could go out for 3-4 days, come home for 3 or 4 days. But there were twice there were chunks in there where I had to fulfill this other responsibility, work, acting stuff. So these 3 or 4 dates, I couldn't go home. I had to go to Toronto and shoot those episodes. And so I was gone for 19 days. That was the longest stretch in the whole run. And I got really, I really got into, in a obsessive way, the Hallmark.
I remember
things
this.
I
remember this, and you were texting me either screenshots or just texting me the names of some of them, going I can't even believe this exists.
They're all. First of all, I didn't know this until and I'd be because it's being out on the road is a lonely mistress, and your hours are completely fucked up, and you're sitting in your hotel room and you're scrolling because you can't sleep. And then I got obsessed with watching, I have to know how this is, what corny bullshit cliche this is going to end in. And it's all complete, talk about AI writing something. AI could easily write every single thing you see on the home. There's 7 channels. There's sub-genres. There's just Christmas.
Yes.
There's just Christmas. Then there's just holidays, which could be Thanksgiving or I probably not Purim, but 4th of July, whatever. There's holiday themed. Then there's just regular stuff. It's almost always somebody from a big city goes to a small town.
Oh yeah.
And I mean 80% of them are someone from the city who's, forgotten how to enjoy life and the simpler pleasures, and is always on their phone and has to do a meeting and, goes either back home or has to go a reporter or a lawyer or somebody who runs a business has to go to the small town.
Do you remember the one? There was one that you sent me a picture of that had a title, and I don't remember what it was. That was the most ridiculous. I'll see if it comes to me, but there was a couple that you had sent that I thought were fake, for sure. But yeah. Anyway, those are not the rom-coms. I've actually been in one. Did you know that?
Yeah.
A Hallmark one.
I think we were just starting to go out when you were.
Yeah, and you were like, "That's the girl for me."
Yep.
That's what I want.
I want to make fun of this 16 years from now. Yeah, they're just the best one I ever saw, just because of its the audacity of it, was the girl who finds out she's Jewish. She was adopted, and she finds out her biological mother was Jewish, and that completely throws her out of whack. And it's just it's terrible. It's so bad, but I'm talking good enough to be funny. Some of them are just boring, but the clichéness where you can just plug in any good-looking actor, any good-looking actress, and just there's something I really came to appreciate about them, and also at the kind of at that time, we had the ill-fated project, Guru Nation, that Bob and Bill Odenkirk and I wrote and were hoping to shoot, had one of the lead characters that his life's aspiration was to make Hallmark rom-com movies. And then Bill wrote up this like brief little thing. It was like Thanksgiving in Christmas Town or something like that, or Christmas time in Thanksgivington or something like that. And it was just so silly. And then we expanded on it, and I wrote up this. I actually wrote like a scene, like almost a thing, and we were kind of swapping it around. And it was so fucking fun to do, and so dumb and funny. It was like, maybe this is its own thing. This could be its own thing.
Yeah. Thanksgiving
in Christmas Town or whatever it was. Bill
could
wrote that one up.
Does it sound? That sounds like an AI title, like you said.
It's, if anything, could be written by, outside of like new country music, if anything could be written by AI, it's
a rom-com.
It's a Hallmark.
Rom-com. Yeah, that is kind of, it's different than the regular ones too, the ones that I wrote about in a particular essay.
You were talking about big budget movies with Sandra Bullock,
but also very
Meg Ryan
specific ones that elicit a kind of like dopamine response and a kind of joy that is, of course, cheesy, but very, very cathartic in a world that's like sad and numbing in a lot of ways. And I also briefly talked about, which my editor of my newsletter was like, we should go into this more. I was like, I feel like this is a separate conversation, but that it's not just about romance. I think things like Harold and Maude and With Nail and I think those are buddy rom-coms. They're rom-coms. It's about love in a different way. It's about...
Yeah,
it is.
Well, sure.
It is. But I think there's like, this is my perception of it anyway. And I think rom-com can come with such a narrow lens. And I think the idea of like love between two people or love over a common thing that is loved by two people, to me, is what a rom-com can carry, is what the term can mean.
Sure. If you were to expand it beyond what we
beyond the Hallmark or the 10 Things I Hate About You, the sort of more traditional, straightforward ones.
Mm-hmm. Hey, everybody. It's your old pal Dave here. Letting you know that this show episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Now, let me ask you something. What are some things you want to keep the same about yourself or your life in 2024? Where are you already crushing it? Think opposite of New Year, New You. Around New Year's, we get obsessed with how to change ourselves instead of just expanding on what we're already doing right. Maybe you finally organize one part of your space and you want to tackle another. Or maybe you're taking your supplements every morning and now you want to actually eat breakfast too. Therapy helps you find your strengths so you can ditch the extreme resolutions and make changes that really stick. Now, I myself personally have enjoyed the benefits of therapy. One of the benefits is they told me to mix it up with your voice, with your speaking voice. Do something different. Be a character if you want to hide behind that. But I have had loads of therapy and currently on about 75 milligrams daily of Zoloft. See, if you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Celebrate the progress you've already made. Visit BetterHelp.com/senses today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/senses. Get started on your resolutions with Factor. Factor's ready-to-eat meal delivery takes the stress out of meal planning. Where all these people are stressed out, and sets you up for success in the new year. Skip the grocery stores, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and more. Plus, over 55 weekly add-ons. You'll have a ton of nutritious and flavorful options to kickstart your resolutions. Need a special occasion meal? Gourmet Plus is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, upscale options done easily. When things get hectic, Factor is flexible. Change your order up every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. Look, stress less over meal times in the new year. Factor's no prep, no mess meals free up time otherwise spent shopping, cooking, and cleaning up. Oop. That was my stomach. Looks like I could use a Factor fresh meal. Factor has everything you need for a week of flavorful, nutritious eats. In addition to ready-to-eat meals, they have cold-pressed juices, smoothies, energy bites, extra protein, veggie sides, and more to keep you energized during frantic times. Head to factormeals.com/census50 and use code census50 to get 50% off. That's code census50 at factormeals.com/census50 to get 50% off.
Anyway, I started writing that newsletter just to get away from social media and to sort of
we're back to Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah, see, not easy. Yeah.
Do you ever confuse Dermot Mulroney with Declan McManus?
I don't know who that is.
It's Elvis Costello's real name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You should have him on this podcast.
Okay, done. You're like every person I sat next to on a plane in the 90s when they're like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a stand-up comedian. Oh, you should get on the Tonight Show.
Oh my God, you're right.
Sure.
That's I remember my mom once going, you should play Meryl Streep's daughter. That's what you should do. And I was like, you know what, Mom, you're right. Let me get on it. I'll get right on it.
Would you make some calls? I'll give you 10%.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. You brought it back to the thing you wrote about rom-coms.
Yeah, I wasn't even bringing that up to talk about rom-coms, other than to say that I wanted a place for my writing and my work to not have the pressure of, having to be a book, which has to be, very, very sharp, very well thought out arguments about things, and or things for the New York Times or The Cut or the New Yorker, places where I've written that also have to have that. But also, I think in recent years, because of the political landscape, is being published less and less because either there's sort of fear about talking about that, or people just want to publish, they're not necessarily interested in evergreen writing and on big concept things. They want writing that is, of the moment, that's happening right now, that feels like it's worthy of going viral or something like that. So
Right.
To me, what I really loved about the Substack model and about starting a newsletter was really the sense of having a community where people can return to it and expect the same thing, and just a place to sort of
And there's
put all
not
my
an
different forms of
obligation.
writing. And there's not an obligation. Yeah.
You're not.
Well, there is, because people pay. Some people
No,
pay
I
for
meant I don't mean
subscriptions,
an obligation to put something out there, but there's not an obligation to always, comment on the what's happening in Israel or Gaza. Or
Well, there's none of that. I mean, that's the other thing, is that social
Right.
media. This change happened last year when my book of the same name, Listening in the Dark, came out. Instagram had changed its algorithms, and I think anyone who's on it remembers this. Suddenly, you weren't seeing the people that you quote unquote followed, who are people's pages you like to see. You were seeing whatever it dictated and whatever the algorithm wanted you to see, and vice
that was
versa.
Twitter, I think, wasn't it?
It was Instagram, and I'm sure it was Twitter too, but Instagram had a huge thing where they made a full pivot towards Reels, which are essentially the videos that they wanted people to be posting less photos and more Reels in order to create subscribable pages so that you can get paid, and therefore Instagram can get paid
for
your content.
Why did I start getting so much porn?
Probably because you were searching porn at some point.
Is that what does it?
That might do it.
All right. Because I was wondering. I'd put like just tit wank, right, and then hoping to
Hot Tibby. Sexy hot Tibbies.
No, this is
Amber Tamblyn lookalikes.
Titwank is an English confection. It's like a chocolate thing. I mean, it's like a bonbon, but English. And so I wanted to get some. I wanted to find out where I could get those in the States, if you can get them in the States. And I was bombarded with
This feels like an excuse.
You call it what you will, but I'm telling you a fact. I put in the search bar titwank.
Titwank?
One word, titwank. Yeah. And then I just started getting
titwanks. Lots of that.
Well, I don't know what a titwank is, but I'll tell you what the images came up.
Right.
It was filthy. It was nothing that Mike Johnson would ever condone.
By the time this comes out, no one's going to know who that is.
Look, there were a man taking his filthy, disgusting and putting it between a woman's no, a woman's no.
Meow.
Closer.
Squish, squish.
Nope.
Oh.
Yeah. And then doing, whatever that is where the white stuff comes out. I don't know. I don't want to know, and that's why I'm an Orthodox Jew. I don't, because I want to know, I want to limit my ability to know pleasure. Yep. Remember my old joke about when I see a young Orthodox girl, like in a stroller, crying, just screaming, crying. It's like, oh, she just found out what her life is going to be like.
It's horrible.
You guys know, you get it?
Yeah, I got it.
And then I'd follow up with no choices.
No choices.
You don't get to make any choices.
Hey.
How fitting that you'd say oi.
Oh, I did say that, didn't I? Oi.
Sorry, I had just been adjusting the levels. I'm sorry, Amber. Would you mind just moving your mic in a little bit more?
How about now?
So let's tell everybody. I know this will be way after the fact, but
is this good?
Yes,
okay.
That is good. Thank you. Sorry.
What you and I can't see her as well, so thank you. Oh, all right. You're okay. Tell everybody what your Halloween costume was this year.
My Halloween costume this year
wasn't long ago.
I know I didn't have one.
You didn't have one?
I didn't have one, no.
Oh. I thought you went as non-binary Hamas.
No, that's definitely not what I went as.
Really?
No, for sure.
I mean, I was just guessing that so what was it? You didn't have anything. It was just regular.
No, I had I went as a 6-year-old's chaperone. I had a weird pink wig on. I was kind of like a little bit like a like 90s era Gwen Stefani meets the Joker. I don't know what I was doing. I took all my makeup and spread it all over my face and then had a pink wig on. It was a weird
to me
no doubt vibe. It
seemed very much like when somebody who's not that familiar with American culture comes over and back in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, makes a film about America in the future and in 1999, and then that's what the future of America is going to look like a punk.
Just like a punk sad mom.
Yeah, somebody who has no concept of what that was, but it sort of has a vague, just through certain imagery and stuff from their country. Let's say Romania before it fell.
Whether at the gym, not me, on the go, sure, or between meals with the fam and my bros, Mosh protein bars are the smart snack to keep your brain and body fit. fueled, and feeling good. If you're busy and constantly on the go like me, well, that's not necessarily true, you need to try Mosh. It's a protein bar made for your brain. What? Okay, I'm smarter just thinking about it. With 6 delicious flavors, each Mosh bar includes 12 grams of protein and is made with ingredients that support brain health, like ashwagandha, okay, lion's mane, I've had that actually, collagen, and omega-3s. At 160 calories and only 1 gram of sugar, Mosh protein bars are the guilt-free snack your brain and body will crave. Hey, get out of the mosh pit and into the Mosh protein bar pit. Your brain is your number one tool. Sorry, ladies. Which is why Mosh protein bars were mindfully formulated by some of the top neuroscientists and functional nutritionists. Founded by Patrick Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, Mosh is a mission-driven brain health and wellness company that donates a portion of all proceeds to support women's brain research through the Women's Alzheimer's Movement at Cleveland Clinic. Mosh now has a new line of plant-powered protein bars in 3 delicious flavors for those who want all the protein and brain support in the original bar, now made with plant-based ingredients. Don't settle for a mediocre snack when you can nourish your body and mind with the fuel it needs to succeed. So whether you're at the gym, on the go, or just living your best life, or all 3, Mosh protein bars will keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. Head to moshlife.com/senses to save 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack, which includes all 6 mouth-watering, oh, you're going to drool, moshlife.com/senses. moshlife.com/senses.
What did our daughter go as?
Vampire butterfly.
That's right. But tell them the best part of her costume.
Well, she went as the entire band. So, as you know, Vampire Butterfly is a 4-piece. No, what was the best part of her costume?
The best part of the costume was that we had a whole idea for the makeup on her face to make her look like this vampiric butterfly. And she was not having it. She wanted to do her own vampire butterfly makeup, which was fine. I was so good at that.
Right. I know what you're saying.
And then she did like the little blood on her chin, down her. And then in the mirror, she wrote.
She looked in the mirror.
She looked in the mirror and she wrote in the mirror, boo.
On her forehead.
On her forehead. But that means when you looked at her in person, it was backwards. So she was walking around with a backwards boo in black writing right across her forehead. It was pretty cute.
Pretty cute.
It was pretty adorable.
To us, not to anybody else.
Yes.
And then, but this is a kid who has quite a good, vivid imagination, and 2 years ago went as a volcano. She wanted to go as volcano.
She did go as a volcano,
and you made her a volcano outfit, which is
and
great.
she's very much into dark, spooky, scary things. Except for Wallace and Gromit, for whatever reason, she's terrified of Wallace and Gromit. And I tried to show her one, and she made me stay in the bed and hold her.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
completely
that.
Terrified. I don't know if it was like the claymation or what, but this.
Well, she's seen other claymation stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a kid who watches Fantasia and went for Halloween as the creature, the monster from Night on Bald Mountain at the end of that movie that's like this scary mountaintop demon. And she's like, I want to be that for Halloween when she was 4. And here she's afraid of like a Wallace and Gromit vampire bunny that eats all the vegetables.
Well, I can sort of see that if you're 6.
I guess.
You know, well, tell everybody, your gold medal parenting thing that you did recently.
What did I do?
About what you showed her, what you allowed her to watch. That.
I have a lot of gold medals, David. Which one?
Well, I was being facetious, so think of that.
What did I allow her to
Very
watch?
recently.
Oh, Wednesday?
Yeah. Where you were beating yourself up for that.
Yeah. I did let her watch Wednesday, which I think is a pretty great show. But the first
for
couple
6-year-olds?
Well, no, the first couple episodes were not bad. It wasn't until they introduced this like
the Hyde.
Yeah, the Hyde, this creature that is, very Stranger
She
Things.
still talks about it.
I know, I get it. Yeah.
And she had to sleep in our bed, and she was scared.
Yeah, I know.
And
Listen, everyone's got to learn at some point.
especially her.
Especially her.
Yeah.
Teach her young how to be terrified.
Yep. All right.
Is this the best interview you've had so far?
I mean, in
Think about it.
yeah. In certain ways, no, but in other ways, also not no, not yeah, not yes, no. I mean, best. What is best?
What is
Is
best?
it the funniest? No. Are people laughing as much as they did at the other ones? Absolutely not.
It's probably Bob, right? I imagine your other wife.
We had a lot of good, but they were just silly, funny.
Yeah.
They're all different. They all have different values.
Yeah.
There's plenty of value in this one.
Have you had Janine on yet? You have,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Yep. And I brought up the thing about making a documentary, and
you did?
Yeah.
What did she say?
Well, what she, absolutely not. No, won't have it.
Fucking
no.
Janine.
I was like, I'll do it. I'll be as inobtrusive. You can, but no. So
you got to keep pushing her on it. See, this is what happens when you live with someone. You just run out of conversation because you're like, we live together.
It's the best.
It is.
What you're missing right now is a TV set that's playing something on it.
Or two beers, and we just pause to check our phones.
And we still have to finish The Last of Us, right? We have two more episodes. One more episode.
I was just talking to somebody about that Nick Offerman episode.
Awesome.
And how that was like a standout piece of television. Just really, really good. It was
beautiful. I texted him and told him it was just beautiful, and he was amazing.
Yeah.
Did you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So good.
And also the other guy, the other guy. That's a little, you know what I mean. The really the only other actor, and it's the guy from The White Lotus.
Yeah.
Who I said, I was like, very early on, I was like, when he was in the hole, I was like, is that Rob Delaney? But it was Murray Bartlett.
Murray Bartlett.
Yeah. It was just
very good.
Fantastic. The whole episode is beautiful, and it was, and Nick just.
It was also the kind of episode where I feel like they could have made that a whole season about them meeting and about their life, and
I'm glad they didn't.
No, I'm glad they didn't either. Yeah. That to me is good writing. Like that they actually, they made it one solid piece.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. I never played the game though, but I heard great things about the game.
Yeah.
But it also, if anything, it will hopefully. I know a lot of people are ignorant to the storytelling and the craftsmanship in video games, and how singular and moving a good game can be.
Yeah,
and sometimes poignant, sometimes scary.
Did you play
funny.
The game?
I didn't. I literally just said.
Sorry.
Now that's our marriage in a nutshell. I literally.
You know what I was doing? I zoned out for a minute, and I was like, "Oh, he's wearing Johnny Pizzolatto's hat," and I wonder because today's election day, and I was just thinking to text him.
Yeah,
but you're absolutely right. I just very much zoned out, all the way out.
No, I never played it, but as I said, I heard really good things about it. But I'm not a big scary game guy. I played them. I thought Prey was amazing. And
did you ever play that video game?
The Last of Us? Yeah, several times, over and over again. Yeah. And did you ever play it? Have you ever played a video game beyond Mario Kart?
Yes, I played Tetris.
No, I meant after Mario Kart.
Oh, Sega. I was like big into like the Sega
platform.
The Sega stuff. What is it?
What
Sonic
an
the Hedgehog.
Nerd.
Sonic the Hedgehog. I was super into.
You non-nerd. That's no. Sega was a platform.
There's been so many times that you have asked me like, "Hey, there's a game I really think you would love," and I just don't have the capacity for it. I don't think.
Well, you don't know yet. I mean, they work on very successful tricks, and in the sense of psychological, like reward. They mete out these rewards that get you to psychologically. You're like, oh, I went through this whole thing, and now I got this reward, and I can go through that door, and then you just want to go through that door, and then you end up playing some more. And it's not a bad thing. It's a convention that goes back to gambling and stuff. But there's so many great, well acted, really imaginative, singular games that story and that feeling does not exist anywhere else.
Right.
I've told you about this one. I'm not going to ruin it for people who haven't played it, but the ending of the first BioShock game.
You have mentioned this many times.
Was one of the most, like, I have had less than 10 of those experiences, even in movies or books, where I was like, I never saw it coming. It was such a brilliant twist that I never saw coming. And it was just, I still think about it. And there's, there are these games, that the one I played, that somebody had recommended, Life is Strange, amazing, where you kind of choose options and the story follows, and
I feel like for me, I don't know, and part of this is just like I would like to read more books, which a lot of people think.
Nobody reads
everybody
as
says
many books
that.
as you.
Everyone says that, but I read a lot of poetry books, but I don't.
Yeah, but you read books.
I do, but there's just
You're gonna let that one slide? You're
What?
not gonna that I said books instead of put poetry
no,
books.
it's more just about ignoring. I think that like you've read so many different kinds of authors, and you're always saying, if you read, this author, have you read all of Dennis Johnson? Like, I haven't even read all of Dennis Johnson's books, and I love him as a writer. You introduced me to Train Dreams, which is one of my favorite books, and still haven't read all of his work. And so,
I wouldn't even put that in his top 5. Yeah.
So to me, I feel like I can't start learning the world of video games until I have read some more books, and also, I said this to Rachel last night at our dinner. I have been with you for 16 years and I still don't understand baseball probably as well as I should.
Well, you have you've
I feel like I really got into it this last time.
Yeah,
I really
you certainly know more than you did. And the more you know, and this is applicable to any sport across the board, the more you know, the more you appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I remember watching.
I'd love to get into a place, though, where I don't have to ask you questions every 3 seconds.
Well, that takes a long time. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Does it take longer than 16 years or?
Yeah. No, probably just a couple. Yeah. You just have to pay attention and retain so when you ask me a question and I give you the answer, you remember that answer instead of
Have you played The Last of Us?
But you also read so many poetry books because you have obviously you have a love for it, but there's also a sense of obligation too, because you have to. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, for reviewing or whatever, but I'm also, I feel.
But you read a lot. You really do.
Yes, I do.
The only person I know who reads more than you is Bob.
Your mom.
My mom reads, yeah.
Yeah, Susie reads a lot.
Yeah.
I'm actually really looking forward to her coming in tomorrow. I'm picking David's mom up at the airport.
She is.
And then I'm leaving town.
Did you get any clarity on whether she needs to be?
No, I need to text Wendy and find out. I also just need to figure out what air. I assume it's Delta. But
yeah, it's Delta.
But no, I think it'll be nice. Just sit and read, and I'm sure she's going to come with books for Marlo.
It'll be nice to watch my mom read. It's nice to watch my mother-in-law read. Sit quietly and read. I just can stare at her for seconds while she does that.
That's something that our daughter is doing right now on purpose, which is a friend of ours, David, his daughter, Sochi, he said that she's doing the same thing about, I think, his food, and he's an amazing cook. But Marlo is saying to me often, like, I hate reading. Books are dumb. Like, reading is boring. And then she kind of just stares at you waiting for a reaction.
Right.
It's pretty funny to watch them try to manipulate the situation.
I told you she read in the car the other day, just by herself. She picked up she was like, oh, this book is funny, the Cranky Chicken book.
Yeah.
And then just read it.
Yeah.
And there were 2 words that she stumbled on. I told her what they were. But other than that, she read a bunch. And then when I was, saying, oh, that's great, it's really impressive, I'm proud of you. Then she she was like, I don't want to read anymore.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
too many pages for the next chapter, so I don't want to read. And then as when you compliment her, she shrivels or shirks back and becomes like, I don't want to do that. No. And
you just reminded me when I left the house, I tried to get her to come by. I just for a minute because she has to go uptown for a doctor's appointment. But I was like, do you want to just come by for a minute? We'll surprise Daddy. We'll go, he's doing a podcast where he talks to people and he's going to talk to me today. And she goes, I don't want to hear Daddy talk. That was it.
Yeah. I think
it's a little harsh.
I think a lot of people feel that way. Do you remember when I was like, she hit me and then kissed me, and I was like, that is my relationship with every woman encapsulated.
Yeah.
They want to hit me and they also want to kiss me.
I think that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like that, and I nothing but women in my life. And
we're super uncomplicated.
God, you just I'm glad you clarified why she's going uptown.
Well, I just thought it was weird that I'm like, yeah, our 6-year-old's going uptown. She's taking the F to the Q to the,
Why would you take the F to the Q?
You're right.
I mean, why would
That's
you
fair.
just...
The C to the F is really what I meant.
You could do that. Yeah. Take the C to the F.
That's
makes
fair.
more sense from where we're from. Yeah. We're in Brooklyn. So, no, but I thought she has a appointment with her lawyer. No,
she's going to the doctor.
Oh, okay.
She's going to get a massage. She's really stressed out. It's really stressful being in first grade. Yeah.
One of my favorite things that just cracks me up all the time, although there's an innocent kid in the mix, is you can tell who dressed her. When she's out going to school, if you go pick her up, you would know who dressed her, whether it was me or her. If it's 62 degrees,
no,
and she's
no,
yes, absolutely, yes,
no.
If you don't like it, you should take a step back and look at this.
No, that's not.
She's bundled up.
Such
with
an exaggeration.
It is not.
It is
absolutely. It is not. Nope.
Is. Emma,
could you Google? No, it's not.
It is because I don't.
What
dress
show
her.
everybody how you dressed?
And what was the first thing I said to you when I walked in here? What was the first thing I said?
Honey, I'm home.
I said, honey, I'm way overdressed.
Yeah, but that's par for the course.
Well, no.
All right.
But I did say that. And also Marlo.
So that's an example.
Hang on, I'm talking. That I let her wear what she wants to wear. And I ask her to go outside and feel outside the door what her temperature is. And if she says I'm cold or whatever, I give her something. Whereas you are the opposite. And you're just like, suck it up. I survived Boston for 20 years and I'm,
Those words have never come out of my mouth.
I mean, more or less.
Well, how about less? No, but you will, quite often, you have a winter coat and a hat, and it's not even close to that. And, but that's how you'll send her out. And so we get, and you don't know this because I take her to school and she gives me the coat and she gives me that. She runs around.
But aren't there also times when you take her to school and she goes, Daddy, I'm cold.
Yes.
I want mittens. Pick me up. I'm cold. So.
Yeah. Well, some of that
it's not really a good indicator then.
No, but some of that is she just wants to be picked up and carried.
Yeah.
And she senses, I believe, part of it is because we say as much, but that she's getting a little old to be carried everywhere.
Yeah, well, definitely. She's getting heavy.
Yeah. And I think she's, just old age. I mean, if she was a tubby, I would still carry her. But, but you know what I mean? Like, I think she gets a sense that time of her life is ending, and she wants more than ever. She's like, meh, meh, and she does it in like a baby talk thing. And she wants to be carried because I do think she's getting an understanding like, oh, you're getting a little big for this.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
We should tell everybody she's 15.
That'd be amazing. That would be amazing. I'm just imagining a 15-year-old in that little portable stroller we have, pushing her down the street. I've told you that I don't overdress her unless she wants. No, unless she wants her gloves, her and her jacket.
I'm never going to deny her any of that stuff. I'm just not going to start off that way because I know that she's going to take it off and she's going to give it to me.
Yes, and what I know is
for
that
a winter parka.
She will also do the opposite, which is go, I'm cold, I don't want to walk, pick me up. But she's talking about being freezing. She's shaking, even though she's not. But
I know she's not.
I think she is sometimes. I think she is.
You just contradicted yourself.
No, I think sometimes she is
cold. Roll
cold.
it back. You literally just said she's not, and then you said, I think she is sometimes. That within 10 seconds.
Sometimes. I think that she is. I think that she means that. And obviously the word freezing, when she says, I'm freezing, that's what I mean. She's not. She's not freezing, but she's cold, right? I think that underdressing her is also
it's not a matter of
good.
Semantics. I don't think that she's...
I think it is a matter of semantics.
You think she's like saying, I'm literally 32 degrees?
No, but for someone who is so serious about words mattering, the way that...
yes.
The way that you do.
Yes.
What I'm talking about is that she's not freezing, but she is cold. So
I know. I understand the concept,
cold,
Amber.
She wants something on, but also there are times when she wants to take it off.
Yes.
I will fight you on this.
Clearly. All right. Well, we'll check back in and let everybody know who won this argument in about 20 years. We'll see how she deals with the onset of fall when she's 18 years old. I'm also worried about. I shouldn't say worried. I'm conscious of figuring out middle school.
Yeah, I know.
Because we are in an amazing elementary school, but not a great middle school area. We're not zoned for a...
Well, there's potential for, for a new school might be opening up in our neighborhood. I heard about.
What? Where?
I think I told you this. One of the moms was telling me, Coco's mom told me, that there might be one opening over near, sort of up the street from us near a school, another school. I'm being vague because I don't want to talk about our kids' school.
Okay.
But I think she's going to be fine. I was just talking to, that might be short-sighted, but I was talking to two friends who were debating whether to put their, little girl in 3K or pre-K private school or public school, and they're zoned in a really great area in Brooklyn. And I said, I would save that money. I mean, you two, you don't need to buy good culture for her. You are the culture. And they're two artists. One's a award-winning playwright, and his husband is an artist and a dancer and a performer. And
his husband.
And so I don't know. I feel like we have faith in some of the aspects of the school system, and know that we're giving her a great relationship to art and surrounding her with artists and people and good experiences, and that's a lot to do with your upbringing.
We talked about this, obviously before, as she entered the world, and as time went on, and as it got closer to having to figure out school. But I felt very strongly that barring some extreme, that I wanted her to go to public school, because it's not simply the education that you're getting with 2 + 2 = 4 and I before E before C, but except for whatever it is, I before E.
Dermot Mulrooney.
Right.
Dermot Mulrooney. Say it 3 times fast.
Declan McMurney. And there's value, there's other value, and there's which obviously, we talked about this at length, and you understand and know and agree, and
Very much on the same page.
There's value that's simply beyond the
academics of
academic
the
side of
education.
it. I talked about this in the last tour, the last stand-up special, the diversity and social skills she's encountering are just as valuable.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there was any kind of, if we felt that she wasn't learning well, or she wasn't in an atmosphere that was stimulating and we would take her out. But I mean, she's excelling, she's doing really well, and she's learning skills that you might not necessarily get in a all upper class. A lot of it is the class system too, the economics. You don't want to be with a bunch of rich kids,
Yeah, I mean, my mom was my mom is a conflict resolution facilitator, but she's also worked in private schools in Los Angeles in the LA Unified School District for a very long time. She also worked in public schools, as did your mom, who was Susie was a English teacher.
Mm-hmm. That's where I get it from.
Do you guys know David taught himself to read at the age of 4?
Yeah, she tried to.
Susie once told me that, and I was like, oh my God, that's why he's so insufferable.
I didn't, though. There's no way. I did not teach myself how to read.
I'm going to go
She
edit
also said 3, which is even
page
crazier.
right now, and I'm going to put that.
I was like, Mom, I did not teach myself to read.
David Cross is an actor, comedian, and satirist who taught himself to read at the age of 3.
I was like, that's not true. Some myth she's trying to create.
I love it.
No, it's simply not true. I didn't learn.
Oh, but I was going to say is that my mom, I mean, would be like one of the first people to tell you, the problems that are within private school systems, and the kind of entitlement that creates in the world, especially for white kids, rich white kids. And, that's not an issue in public schools as well. There's a really amazing podcast called Nice White Parents that came out of the New York Times about parents in Brooklyn in particular sort of taking over public school,
that was like a
serialized
serialized thing that ended up being.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I read kind of a synopsis of the story. It sounds fascinating.
It was a story about one particular school, but
it was in Park Slope, right?
I think so. Yeah. Yes. But yeah. So I see the benefits in the same way you do of the public school system, and understand that it's also very complicated. I think I had read some article recently on all this this very sad stuff that happened at St. Anne's School, where a student took his life.
Yeah.
And I there was a sentence in there that really encapsulated all of it for me, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it said, private schools have the means, but not wasn't the resources, but it was like they have the means, but they don't have the care or the.
I remember that. I remember, and then
what is the word? And that public schools, have the care, but not the resources.
Yeah.
Care was not the word, but it was close to that. And I thought, that kind of sums it up, because I guess there's an expectation when you're paying $50,000 a month, a year, that you should be able to handle all of it. Don't you dare call us for a,
Oh, I thought you were going to say something. Yeah, it's, but it's also the, I think parents play a bigger, the psychology of the parents as human beings and their flaws play a bigger part in reflecting onto the kid, the student, when it comes to private schools, because there's status involved that just isn't in public schools.
Yeah.
And the status is a weird thing to put on your kid and a weird thing to teach your kid. I mean, it's an unfortunate part of life, and not that you don't get this in different ways in a public school or with people of less means, but it's really a big part of private schools and getting into the right school, the whole application. That's why people cheat to, and bribe to get their kids in these things. It's not like I want them to be the CEO of a aerospace company. It's about a lot of it is status and how it reflects on the parents.
Yeah.
And
I had somebody tell me that was one of the reasons to go to St. Anne's, was that it was more about networking with the parents than it was the actual school, which I thought was pretty telling.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true for everyone. I have several friends
but that's what
whose kids go there and don't feel that way. But
here, that's what it is in England.
Yeah.
And all over the world. And it's why this idea of, meritocracy and, and the, diversity hiring, it's the idea that there's no instilled systemic racism in this country. There's there's no nepotism. Nepotism doesn't exist in the world, in American culture or business culture. That's why people pay exorbitant amounts of money and donate money to Yale and Harvard and Columbia and Princeton and Stanford and wherever, so that their kids who are fuck ups, who aren't that bright, can ensure themselves entree into that world.
Well, I think even kids who are bright and who are not fuck ups, they still want to have assurance that their kids have a path into that world. So
but it's more important for kids who reach the age of 18 and it's pretty clear, like, oh, this person, this kid is not,
or they don't know what they want to do, and it's
what do you think about I don't know, like Bush and Trump and people that paid to get into school weren't particularly curious or bright. What
are your thoughts about, and I know this is so, we're by the time this comes out, everything will have changed again, but what do you think about the poll numbers that came out showing that Trump is now ahead in 5 key states?
I don't.
You're usually horribly correct about these things in my experience, and it scares me.
I don't put a lot of stock into I think they're overly simplistic, and they're going, what party are you registered with? And how do you feel about, this person? And would you vote for this person? First of all, to take a poll number now is
a year away from the election.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's just silly. It's useless. It's a waste of time. And I don't do any of that fretting, about, oh my gosh. I mean, it shows that some people are not happy with, Biden's performance, and it shows, and I think that's for, a number of kind of obvious reasons. Their messaging isn't very good. People are unaware of the
things that he's done that are
the accomplishments.
Yeah, really
whether
great.
you call them accomplishments or not, or but he did do these things, and when you go and you tell these people, this is the same way, same issue I had with Bernie Sanders is like, and you were a witness to this when we were in. Where were with a couple from Florida? Where were we? Remember the lake house?
Oh,
Wendy, Wendy and my sister and sister-in-law had some friends who were Republicans. I said that like I just called, who were they were Republicans, but anyway, they were a lovely couple, very nice.
They're no longer with us.
No, they're really nice. I like them a lot, and we all had dinner one night, and this is in Atlanta, and it was before I guess, what was it, It was when Trump. It was like Trump.
It was when Trump was running. I think the first time
against Hillary Clinton.
Yes, because it was.
But my whole thing was about Bernie Sanders. Anyway, this is boring, and we'll cut this out. So we'll get to this part, which is that I told him of the positions without saying it was Bernie Sanders. Because he was very,
yes, I remember this.
Anti-Bernie in the sense of like, well, he's a socialist and da 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 da. And then I told him, well, he's, what do you think of this? And are you for these rights and whatever? However, I took my time, and he agreed with all of them. I go, well, that's Bernie Sanders' platform, and that's the opposite of Donald Trump's platform.
Yeah,
and this is before in the guy's defense, somewhat mitigating, but it was before Trump proved all the things that people were saying about him. But, people were like, he's going to turn this country around and no more, he's going to drain the swamp and whatever, talking points they got, bumper sticker shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so I think that's part of the issue with Biden, and the Democrats are just, so frustrating and feckless and just, shackled by the idea of like running numbers and, and just they're fucking pussies. And there are so many things that people agree. If you take Biden's name out or Trump's name out, or even Republican or Democrat, and just say, how do you feel about this issue?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this? And by far, and it's been proven, this is part of the polling thing numbers, people will go, I see, that's the Democrats' position, or that's the Democrat socialist position, or that's the independent or the libertarian or whatever. But, and I think they've done a terrible job at touting his accomplishments, and they have lost a long time ago the propaganda war. The ability to fight back against the
messaging.
The messaging, Fox
I feel like the
News stuff.
The only messaging that is palpable and works for our side of things right now is the fact that Roe v. Wade was overturned and the debate over abortion, which
they're so lucky.
I know, which is really sad to say that.
The only reason they're still in the game,
100%, is that the youth care about that. People, men and women, care about that. Everyone cares about that.
70% of America care about it.
Yeah,
70%,
and we're still not in a place where people can recognize that gets overshadowed by everything else. Even just everything that just happened with trying to pick a speaker. It's so embarrassing, and how anyone could look at that and say, those people represent me, that's my party, that's what I believe in, is shocking to me. But how
many, what is it, 200 and I don't even know what the number of the Republican representatives in the House are, 221, 229. I don't even know what it is, but literally 229 people hold America hostage.
Yeah. It's true.
And they're Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but a bunch of them are just crazy.
Yeah.
And, believe in these insane conspiracy theories. And the new Speaker of the House is a creationist, literalist, and that's just
election denier.
Well, that's the least of it.
That's the least of it. I know. Well,
if you believe Adam and Eve met a talking snake, and seriously, then you're the Speaker of the House, and you are the head Republican.
Yeah,
and you believe that Adam and Eve were a talking snake gave them a bad apple. And then they ate the apple, and God was upset after he.
when you put it that way, it's really scary.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, Amber. Well, thank you.
Are we done here?
We're almost done. If you can hold it for 5 minutes,
okay.
I'm going to ask you a question, as I ask everybody.
Okay.
About a question from Marlo.
Okay.
Let me get it over here. I have one picked out specially for you.
Okay, thank you.
I do that for everybody.
Yeah.
All right. And look, my whole thing when I asked you to my love
million.
Was
What if I just made you hold my hand through this whole thing?
I don't like holding hands.
It's a real thing. David does not like to hold hands.
I don't like it. Okay, that's enough. I got to get my phone. Oh, my. My whole thing was just to make this, not special or whatever, and just treat you like any other guest that I fuck,
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, here we go. From Marlo. Okay. So this is a question from, and again, she doesn't do these specifically for people. I'm just picking this out.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay. Amber Tamblyn, my daughter Marlo, has a question for you. Why do you get tired at night?
That does feel like that is specifically for me.
Yes, I picked that one especially.
Yeah. You get tired at night because you're up all day long, working, thinking, dealing with the world, and you're like a battery. And by the end of the day, I'm like answering this like I would say it to her.
You
actually.
should. Yes, absolutely. That's how you should do it.
You think of how we drive a car and whether that car takes gas or you have to charge that car because it has a battery. At a certain point, the car starts to slow down, or it needs to be refueled, or it needs to have its battery recharged. And our bodies are just the same way. We need to do that at night.
And our brains.
And our brains.
Yeah.
And when we go into deep sleep, I often like to tell Marlo too, mostly to get out of the room when she won't let me leave at bedtime. But I say, where do you want to meet up in a dream tonight? I'll meet you there. You tell me. And she says, like, we're going to go fly on a cloud. I go, great. I'll get my cloud and I'll come meet you. Where are we meeting? And we'll have a whole conversation about where we're meeting in our dreams. But
oh, that's smart. I like that.
Yeah. And
that's better than what I do, which is tell her that there are zombies under her bed.
That's my another one of your jokes. That's one of my favorites is whispering to her at night things to help her go to sleep. Like, there is no God.
Oh, well, they're not meant to. The joke isn't about helping her sleep, but yeah.
Well, whispering to a baby.
It was when she was a baby.
Yeah, but
an infant.
But yeah, so I try to tell her that to make her think, when she's going into her dream, maybe she'll see mommy there. That'd be pretty cool. Then we could go do things you don't get to do in real life.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. All right, Amber Tamblyn. Thank you very much for marrying me.
Honey Bunny Boo Bear.
So this probably won't come out. We're just doing this to humor you. But
okay.
It was nice to have you come down to the office.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. It's an hour of my life I won't get back.
Actually, you can go on YouTube and get it right back if you'd like. That's the beauty of a podcast.
That was a Headgum podcast.